Well, James, so you're the director of the film. Sell Aquaman to the enemy audience.
Sell to the audience. I think the movie is a fun adventure that takes the audience through really, visually interesting and exciting worlds underwater.
You're sort of underselling that a little bit there. I mean, you kind of you went sort of nuts with your imagination. How did you come up with all this sort of stuff?
Well, I mean, like a big part of it for me, with creating the world was kind of, leaning into like the amazing treasure trove of just stories from the comic book, from years and years and decades of amazing source material to pull from. And,
are you an Aquaman fan?
I've become a huge fan. I mean, like,
no one's an old school Aquaman fan, are they? This is the problem. It's a bit.
No, I gotta say, I love old school Aquaman.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about him. Like, I just find his character so endearing. Like, the more kind of people make fun of him, the more I like him even more. And I find his character really endearing. And I love the visuals. I love the original comic book. I actually seriously love the artwork from the very early days.
Yeah.
And the story is just very wonderfully quirky.
Is it nice? It's sort of less pressure with a character where there's less kind of expectation. You take on Batman, it's like, whoa, that's Batman. But with Aquaman, it's like,
yeah, I mean, I definitely do think, the fact that he's never really been done for the big screen before gives me, more freedom to try things out, to do things, because there's lesser expectations there. So it means I can, be as creative and as be imaginative as I possibly can.
So let's say, the DC universe, there's been some good ones, some turkeys. It's kind of it's quite difficult to take it on. You're a brave director, okay? Were you nervous before before taking this on? Did you kind of think twice? Are you the man to turn this franchise around?
I don't think about stuff like that. All these big movies are just difficult to make. Any kind of movies are hard to make, let alone one that has so much pressure going. Like these worlds are just tough. They're difficult to tackle. I just come into this wanting to make the movie I want to make, and trying to be as true to the source material as I can, and being respectful to that, whilst doing what I need to do to adapt it to the big screen.
And you're famous, obviously, as a master of horror. Were you sort of tempted to put some jump scares in this one? Or,
It has horror elements in there, just by the very nature that the ocean is a big and scary place. It can be really majestic, but it can also be very dangerous and scary. And so I think, that really allows me to aesthetically, create very different looks. One, which is, very wonderful, magical, and then the other, allowing me to kind of lean more into my sort of horror background.
And it feels like, of all people, you're the person who made a universe, an extended universe in the horror world. So is it kind of a natural transition to go into something like this, where you kind of join in?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't difficult for me to go from, horror into, Fast and Furious, and then into like a comic book movie. To me, the filmmaking process is all the same, create characters that you care about, and create interesting stories and stuff like that. So the process is always the same, regardless of what genre you make your films in.
So we'll get crossovers, Batman versus Annabelle?
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I would pay to see that film.
Me too. All right, we'll make it happen. Thanks so much for your time, James.